Hi guys. This is a very unusual video. I have never done something like this before. And this is just to clear a misconfusion that has been going around in the last GOT video. As some of you may have seen, there have been like comments from different accounts saying that I have already previously watched GOT, and naturally with the help of my moderators, I decided to held those comments for review. So just before I could even give you any explanation as to what the confusion is, I didn't want you to assume anything about those comments just from the looks of it. I just wanted to set things clear before you get the idea that I have watched the show. So the comments that came in said that in 2020 I did a playthrough of the game called The Last of Us Part 2, and by the end of the game I had created, or I had made, a separate YouTube video for the review of the game. And again, I had my book, my pen all set up, took down notes about the game itself, and I was ready to get into it because that is one of my favorite franchises in terms of games out there in the world. And my favorite game is The Last of Us, so I really wanted to start my channel building it with The Last of Us 2. And in that gameplay, apparently during that time, I have mentioned something about the character now that I am well aware of, is about Theon Greyjoy, and something where his character arc, or what happens to him future down the line in terms of torture element. I have to set one thing straight before I go through it. The reason I may have used that particular statement is not because I have watched Game of Thrones before, but because I read an article where it compared this person's character's torture to, well, spoiler alert, the torture of one of the characters in the actual game. And I really thought that it made sense, first. And second, in terms of understanding the relevance to the Game of Thrones reference, I had absolutely no clue. Third, I definitely chose the Game of Thrones reference to add it in only because I wanted my channel to build from The Last of Us. I never in a million years thought that I would be watching TV shows and movies. I always wanted to continue playing games and going in that direction. But when I saw that, of course, the game wasn't, at least my playthrough wasn't getting enough recognition, you could say, during the lockdown time, I just decided to make things different and maybe add a Game of Thrones reference. And maybe if someone watches it, people might pick that up. And it was seriously a strategic move. And in terms of understanding the reference behind that with the gameplay, I had no idea. And I can assure that when I had taken that down, I was not aware, first of all, that it was a very important character. Now that I have watched the few episodes that we have seen the character Theon. And second, again, I assure you, I have not watched Game of Thrones. In fact, I even wrote that down specifically, saying that mention you have not watched Game of Thrones. And for some bizarre reason, while I was chatting, I completely forgot to mention that. And of course, this doesn't excuse how this explains for you guys in terms of whether I have watched the show, because you have every right to doubt whether all these reactions could be fake because of the way I have been uh, relating different points and the attention to detail, as most of you say. I, as an individual, I love taking things down because otherwise I completely forget them. And I wish I had done this note taking for all the previous shows that I was watching. But because I never again thought that the channel would pick up with movies and TV shows, once it did, it all happened so quickly that I really wanted to get by a show just so that I could see where people stand with the reaction. And with relation to Game of Thrones, not only did I get many requests saying that please do Game of Thrones, but I also was mentioned, like I was also warned about the nudity, the goriness, the violence, and about the fact that the show in itself can get a bit hard to follow. Now, me being me, this has just been my habit since I was in school. I take things down, and I learn a lot by writing everything, because visually everything goes into my mind. But when I wake up the next morning, sometimes I can't remember what I saw. So it helps me recap a broad, diverse show like Game of Thrones, right? So that's the reason why I decided that I will start doing note taking for Game of Thrones. But in addition, I have never watched the show. One reason, even if I did, I would have mentioned saying that I have previously watched the show. And as I mentioned in the first video of the episode, I watched maybe the first video somewhere on a platform like maybe YouTube or something else, but I could not remember anything. All I knew was that it was something in relation to Game of Thrones, and because it was a bit violent, I did not continue with it. And even if I had watched it, I would not watch it again, only because I want to address the misconception that I'm doing this for the views. Yes, partly is because I am doing it for the views. I am doing it for your support. I can't just ignore that, because all of this, believe it or not, as I've understood, it all runs with whether people do watch your videos or not. Because if they don't, because as I said, I've been working full time and I love doing YouTube on the other end. I want to know that whatever I'm doing, at least to my end, the editing, the uploading, the response, it matters to me. So I just make sure that people do watch the video. And I think that's just like quite a normal. If people didn't watch it, I would have said that, look, I'm not going to continue the series because it's not getting the response I would have wanted, and I would have just ended it there. And if I did watch this show, as I said, I would have not gone through this effort and time to watch this show. And I did mention in the first episode saying that because this is a commitment, and I know and I am well aware that how this show has an effect to so many different fans. And I don't have personally anyone that has watched the show, but I've heard from word of mouth, and not knowing, of course, the spoilers of the show, I've been told that this show has a large crowd. And I don't think anyone would not know that. Like, everyone knows what Game of Thrones is, whether you have or have not watched it, because of the popularity. And in terms of not doing the show, I would have, if it didn't get the response I wanted, I would have not done it. But because you guys really liked it, and I truly appreciate that, I really wanted to continue it for you guys. But please believe me that I have not done any of these reactions pre-knowing it. If I did know it, I would not waste my time editing all these videos or watching the show. I would not be wasting my time doing this note-taking, because I would then immediately just tell, oh, I know this person, I know that person. Now, cutting to what I said in The Last of Us relating to Theon, to date, I did not even realize that I even mentioned something relating to Game of Thrones, because I forgot about the name. As I said, I do not remember something that I have not watched. It doesn't register in my mind, which is why I have to write it down. But I did not realize that, despite me writing it down during the review for The Last of Us, that it was very important for me to make a note of it while I was doing the first episode of Game of Thrones, saying that there was this one segment in The Last of Us that I had mentioned Theon's torture or something like that, which, as I said, I do not know what it is, in relation to a character's torture in the game. It slipped my mind that I even mentioned it. I forgot that I even used that reference. And as I said, I do not even know what the connection was, how the character in Game of Thrones was tortured, because I did not watch it myself, but I genuinely did that to, I guess, maybe try and lure people in to see my video. Because I mentioned Game of Thrones, it could help the channel. It could maybe broaden my capabilities in doing more videos of gaming and whatnot, and people would talk about it. It was just my way of learning how the YouTube algorithm works. Clearly, it didn't work. And now, with me doing Game of Thrones, this particular segment has come at an unfortunate time where the misconception is that I am fake. One thing I would like to say is that I am completely not in any way trying to justify what happened. I am just trying to make you aware of the misconception. I am genuinely doing Game of Thrones because I had got messages that people really wanted to watch the show, and I had just finished Stranger Things, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to continue a different show or start a new show and see what the response would be, as I have mentioned. That was my only intention. Please accept my sincere apologies as to how this would have affected your views on my note-taking or on my ability to pick up small little details. This is not because I know the show. This is because I actually put interest towards the show and I am enjoying it very much. And it seems like people have also enjoyed watching it for the first time through someone else's reactions. And I used to have that for watching gameplay and watching other people's gaming videos, which is what my initial start to this entire channel was. But here we are 2 years later, almost 2 years later. The difference in my uploading arc has been completely something I never anticipated at all. So, and to those who who might not want to stay on for the journey, I completely understand, because it is it is a misconception which I did not intend. And if I did, I would have addressed it. But I truly did forget that I mentioned the character Theon in the gameplay review. And I did not try to hide the fact that I have already watched the show, which I haven't. I am completely going in blind. I'm completely new to the show. As I said, I only knew a few bits and bobs about the show. I know the actors and actresses, most of them playing, because I have watched other shows of those actors. I have watched a segment of it somewhere on YouTube about the first episode, which again, I did not recall while I watched the first episode. And with the popularity of the show, and even though I didn't realize, I didn't know anything about the show end, I just knew that the show ended sometime in 2019. And that was just my, of course, my research into how many seasons were there. And that when the show ended, it got mixed reviews. that was like something that bombarded my social media without any spoilers. As I said, I am not aware of what happens. And again, with Theon's scene, I am not aware about the torture. When we see him being tortured, I will acknowledge the fact that I did mention it in the gameplay, but I have not watched my review of the gameplay to see what the torture scene was and how it relates to that, so that I can keep it authentic to my own self when I watch it for the first time, knowing what the scene meant. So, and then I will see what I mentioned in the review and compare it and see what I exactly tried to do in terms of my explanation, how I tried to, I don't know, like maybe try and beat the algorithm, see that Game of Thrones or gameplay, Game of Thrones, can people come and watch my videos? That was my only thing. And that was my mentality at the start, but not now, because I truly appreciate everyone's support with the way the episode went, and that's the reason I continued. And if I had watched the show, as I said, I would have not said that I watched it. I would have been like, I'm sorry, I finished, like I have already watched the show. And I've done that for many other requests, for example, for Supernatural, for Walking Dead, for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, for Teen Wolf, One Tree Hill, all these shows, Pretty Little Liars, all these shows were shows that I've already watched before. So they are also equally a commitment if I wanted to do something with that. And I would never try to misuse this platform by saying that this is my first time watching, let me do this for the views and the subscribers. That's one thing I am against, and I am completely sorry for the route that it is going at. But as I said, I understand if you may not want to watch my videos in relation to that. But if you do, please note that I will do my damn best in being very clear in how if I knew something, I would mention it. If I didn't, I would completely be up in front about it, and I will try to make it as, you could say, not interactive, but as pleasant as how it would have been for watching it for the first time for you guys, by being a bit more attentive to the story and the little tiny details that are there that could have been missed because of my note-taking and whatnot. But yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. And again, I'm so sorry. It is not anything against anyone, or it's not me trying to defend myself. It's just me trying to clear a small mistake that I seriously had no idea about, and I did not even realize that I put that in the video, and I should have somehow remembered. But as I said, it just slipped my mind that I even mentioned it, because the review was about, I think, an hour long or something, and it was in 2020 when I did it, and I'm doing Game of Thrones very late on. Like, as I said, it's not something I even thought I would be doing, because I thought I would be gaming the entire time. But I hope you guys understand, or I hope you guys at least see it at least a little bit my way, and maybe I hope you would continue staying. But if you do, I truly appreciate your support, and I would like to see you guys till the finish line. And if you still are on board with me, I will still continue to put out those videos with my heart and soul. And yeah, that's all I would like to say. And I look quite horrible, because I have not been able to sleep thinking about this. It's been on my mind, because I never ever want to make people think that I am fake in any way. That's my last thing. I have been enjoying it so much, and it's a bit sad. It's my heart is truly breaking that people think, at least this misconception is making people think that I have already watched the show and I am faking everything, when I am not. I'm truly trying my level best. I'm very impressed at the fact that I'm able to even remember any of this, but because I really like the show and I really wanted to watch the show. But I hope you understand. I'm not trying to get any sympathy points. I'm not trying to get anything, but it truly does hurt. Every single moment that I do YouTube is for you guys. And without you, this platform means nothing. And with that being said, I seriously do hope you consider staying on, because I will try and make it the best experience for you first time round. And it would be amazing if you stay on. But if you don't, as I said, I completely understand. Other than that, I hope you have been having a great day, better than I am. And happy Sunday. If you guys are okay with me uploading the next video after seeing the comments in this particular video, I will then upload the next video. If you guys aren't, we'll see what the next episode will be like. So yeah, thank you so much to my moderators for holding the review before I was able to give a response to the situation and the misunderstanding. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.